All right, today we're diving into a bit of a scientific detective story. Our scene? A simple sugar test. Our suspect? Just ordinary table sugar. And the mystery is this: why does this everyday ingredient sometimes act like it's not a sugar at all? Let's crack this case together. So here's the central puzzle. You take sucrose, that's just the fancy name for table sugar, and you run it through a standard chemical test, like Benedict's test, which is literally designed to find certain sugars. And you get nothing. The test comes back negative. So what's going on here? Is the test broken, or is sugar hiding something from us?
Well, the answer, as it turns out, is that it's hiding something. It's all about a clever chemical disguise. Sucrose's very structure acts like a mask, hiding its true identity from our simple tests. The sugar is definitely there, but its most reactive parts are locked away, totally out of sight. To solve this, we've got to look at our first big clue. And it's this: not all sugars are created equal. In the world of chemistry, they fall into two very different groups, and understanding that difference is the key to this whole mystery. So our suspect, sucrose, belongs to a group called non-reducing sugars. Now, what in the world does non-reducing mean? Well, it all comes down to specific parts of the molecule. Think of them as the sugar's hands. These are the parts that are supposed to reach out and react with the test. For a non-reducing sugar like sucrose, those hands are basically tied together, chemically locked inside the molecule. They can't react. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got your reducing sugars, like glucose and fructose. Their chemical hands are free, they're ready to go. They react with the Benedict's reagent, and boom, you get a positive test. But on the right, you have sucrose. Its reactive parts are locked up tight. So when the test reagent comes along, there's just no reaction. It's a total chemical standoff. Okay, so this leads to the next big question, right? If sucrose is just a locked box, is there a key? Is there some way we can force it to open up and show us the sugars we know are hiding in there? The answer is absolutely yes, and it just takes a little bit of lab magic. So how do we pick this chemical lock? Well, the key has a name, and it's called hydrolysis. Now that might sound complicated, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. We're just going to use a combination of acid and heat to break the bonds that are holding sucrose in its disguise. Here's the plan, step by step. First, we add a little bit of hydrochloric acid to get the environment just right. Then, we apply some heat. We actually boil the solution for a minute. This is like the brute force that snaps the chemical handcuffs. After that, we need to neutralize that acid so it doesn't mess with our final test. And then, we bring back our detective, the Benedict's reagent, to have another look.
So what did all that boiling and acid actually do? You know, while all this was happening, a pretty dramatic transformation was taking place right there at the molecular level. That disguise was literally being ripped away, showing us what was underneath all along.
It's really that simple. The heat and the acid acted like a chemical crowbar. They pried open that big, non-reactive sucrose molecule and forced it to split into smaller, more accessible pieces.
And here's what was inside. Each single molecule of sucrose breaks down into one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. Now, here's the kicker. Both glucose and fructose are reducing sugars. Their reactive hands are now free. All of a sudden, our solution is packed with the very molecules that Benedict's test was looking for in the first place. And there we have it. We have all the pieces. We started with a suspect in disguise, we found a way to unmask it, and now we've revealed its true identity. It's time to look at the final evidence and officially close this case.
And the proof is right here in the results. Before boiling, our original sucrose solution gives a negative result. No surprise there, that just confirms it's a non-reducing sugar. But after we've boiled it with acid, we get a positive result. The test can now see the glucose and fructose that we unlocked. And this isn't just a cool lab trick. In food science, this process is called inversion, and it's used to make things like candy to keep the texture really smooth.
So, to sum it all up, sucrose doesn't fail the sugar test because it isn't a sugar. It fails because its reactive bits are locked away in a chemical disguise. But by breaking it down with a little acid and heat, we unmask the glucose and fructose hiding inside, and we finally solve the mystery.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? A little bit of heat and some common acid completely change the properties of a substance we see every day. It leaves you with this one last, pretty fascinating question. What other hidden molecular secrets are all around us, just waiting for the right chemical key to come along and unlock them?